Hey, hey, what's going on, guys? I know you're feeling good right now. I'm feeling good. Price of Solana's finally up over the 160s. We hit 175 today. ETH is still going up. ETH was at 3,000 a couple of days ago. It hit around 33,000, 33. I wish 33,000, 3,300. And a lot of our favorite alts are rising. So that is good news. Very, very good news. But also, there's been some drama with the crypto bills. Basically, yesterday it was stalled. Today it was announced it was, they voted to go on to the next vote, and things were looking good. Markets pumped on that news. Now, in the wee hours of today, we're hearing that there's still some debate and there's still some hurdles. So no bill will be passed into legislation or onto the president's desk for them to review. So there's still some hurdles to go through. When you're dealing with the government, that's pretty nothing ever goes smoothly. You got to go back and forth. But I anticipate that hopefully this week we will get some positive news regarding these three crypto bills. Nonetheless, altcoins are rising, and I think it's on the heels of ETH that's pumping. ETH's pumping because of BlackRock. BlackRock accumulating like crazy. They have spot ETF, of course. There's other people accumulating as well. So ETH is rising, and with that is bringing up other alts. So that is very exciting. Very, very exciting. Also, some memes are also popping too. So good time to be in the space. I still think we have way more to go, but it's good to see that altcoins and ETH, they're coming alive. So, looking at coin market cap, we see that Bitcoin at the time of this video has calmed down a little bit, possibly with some of the alts rising, but 118.6. Um, ETH is down just a little bit, but it's still 33.64 for the day. It's up, or not the day, but 24 hours, up almost 8%. XRP 24 hours, almost up 5%. Solana up 8% past 24 hours. Dogecoin up 10.5%. Tron 2.5. Look at ADA. ADA up 5%. Hyperliquid has calmed down a little bit, but Sui's calmed down a little bit for the past 24 hours. Chainlink up 6.4%. Avalanche up 3.6%. But things are looking better. Even Litecoin. I love Litecoin. Almost going to hit that 100 mark again. So past 24 hours up 3%. So we're going to see some choppiness going on, and that's mainly because of what's going on with this bill. A lot of back and forth. One day is looking good, the next day is not looking good. Right now, we're in a not so looking good phase. But just like yesterday, in my video, I said that some Republicans voted with the other side, and that resulted in that vote not being, progressed or moving forward because of that. And then the president listed on True Social that he's going to have a meeting with the people on his side that basically disagree with the bill. And sure enough, after that meeting took place and he announced it, they sided and they fell in line, and they voted to proceed with the vote. Now, people are going backwards on that, and I'm gonna cover that a little bit later in the video. But the purpose of this video is to let you know that altcoin season is still alive. I know there's been some narratives out there that it was institutional driven, is only going to be about Bitcoin, and maybe the cycle will be different. This right here showcases that there's still interest in altcoins, and we should still be DCAing into our favorite projects. Yes, these prices have risen a little bit, but nothing like what you've seen in past alts, where projects are 5x and 10x. We're not there yet. You're not there yet at all. So still good time to be DCAing into your favorite projects. So what I like to do before I DCA, I like to look at Coinbase. Coinbase is basically retail driven, right? No major corporations are buying anything on Coinbase. They're getting their spot, probably from OTC. Here, people like you and me are buying on Coinbase. So I like to look at most searched and most purchased. So most searched for the day, right, is Solana, 35,000 searches. Solana is my top L1, and I like the user experience on Solana, and I think retail is probably going to come back in for memes. Most of the memes are on Solana. Solana also has DeFi and everything like that. I've talked about Solana so many times, I don't want to keep going on about it, but right now it looks like retail is interested in Solana as well. Possibly because they see how high ETH is, and most people aren't dropping 3,300 on a token. But something less than 200 is probably feasible, more feasible. So East number 2 with 28,000 searches, and look at XRP. XRP Army number 3. Then you have Pepe. Pepe is a strong, I would call it a blue chip meme right now. It's on ETH, and with ETH rising, naturally, Pepe's rising too. 14,000 searches. ADA, you see ADA, 11,000 searches. People are still interested in ADA. Sheeb, another popular meme from the past bull cycle. Interested again. Pump.fun, which is another Solana one that's pretty popular. Just got listed on Coinbase, I believe, today or yesterday. Popular. Pudgy Penguins, another Solana meme, popular. You get the theme. Hedera, 7,000 searches. Floki has 6,000 searches. Doge, 6,000 searches. Bitcoin, 6,000 searches. But it's crazy, right? If you look at most searched, here we're in the single digits. But if you look at the top two, Solana and Ethereum, 35,000 searches for Solana, 28,000 searches for Ethereum, and 27,000 searches for XRP. Still time to DCA, guys. I'm not telling you what to do, but this is, I kind of look at this to gauge where the interest is. And once retail FOMO kicks in, where's all the activity going to be? Say is not on here. I like Say as well. But these are some interesting information here. Now let's take a look at the most buyers, right? It's one thing to browse and window shop, but where are people putting the money in? Where's retail putting money in? So it looks like Bitcoin, 87,000 buyers, people DCAing into that. XRP was top 3 as far as most searched, and XRP, people are buying it. So XRP should have a bullseye if I'm a buyer and trying DCA into something. They have a strong community, and retail FOMO is crazy. And XRP has, with everything they got going on, has the possibility to 3x from here, probably even more. Ethereum is up there, 42,000 buyers. Solana, 24,000 buyers. Litecoin, 10,000 buyers. Hedera, 7,000 buyers. Bonk, Solana meme, 7,000 buyers. And ADA, 6,000 buyers. And Pump.fun, thought I'd be more buyers than this, but only 6,000. And then to round up the rear, we have Pepe, another meme, 3,000. So if we look at this, as far as altcoins go, there's been some memes here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Retail's coming back slowly but surely, y'all. Slowly but surely. So I talked about this in the intro of this video. Crypto regulation stumbles for a second day. From what I gather, it appears that some of the concessions that were made to take some hardliners on the right side to go ahead and say, okay, yes, let's proceed with this vote. Now there've been some amendments, some changes, and now they're flip-flopping. People that were for it aren't for it anymore. It's just a dance, legislation dance that both sides do in order to get what they want. So at some point, this is going to be ironed out. President has said that one of his main objectives is to make crypto the beacon and digital asset space. They want the U.S. to be at the top. They don't want China. They don't want any other country leading the charge. They want to be at the forefront of innovation. And I imagine that at some point this is all going to happen. So hopefully it happens within this week. And if it does, what we saw today, a small glimmer of hope. Once we heard that the law passed, we saw all the alts started rising. That's what's going to happen. Things are choppy now just because of this news, but it's going to happen. So House Speaker Mike Johnson said, or basically he can only lose 3 Republican votes and still get the legislation passed in the party line vote. So, I imagine that at some point it's going to pass. I'll just leave it at that. So another thing that was kind of shaking up the market, had people kind of not sure what was going to happen in the future. There were some rumblings that the president had a letter drafted to terminate the current Fed chair, Jerome Powell. And when news of that broke out, the markets didn't like it. The Fed is supposed to operate independent of the government. They're, kind of in control of the economy, and they don't want any government oversight. Something like this would shake and rattle that principle. And, markets don't like, not being stable. They don't like anything that they can't predict. And if that were to happen, that would not be good for the markets. However, when questioned upon this today, the president said that he is highly unlikely that he would fire the Fed chair. Then last week, you heard rumors that maybe Jerome Powell is tired of all the pressure he was getting and he may resign. That'd probably be the better of the two outcomes. So this is still some drama that's festering, and we'll see how this plays out. But we probably don't want him to be fired. That's not good. Um, not good at all. But at the end of this video, I'm going to tell you what would happen if he was no longer the Fed chair, and maybe why he is the Fed chair and he's keeping these interest rates so high, even when other Fed chairs of different states say that it's probably time to cut. Specifically, let's cut this month. But yet he is gung ho on keeping rates the way they are. Maybe there's a reason behind that, and I'll talk about that at the end of this video. So again, the futures are a little unchanged following the rally on his denial that he plans to fire. So right now the futures are red. If we look at the market here, pre-market, not looking that great. Let's see here. Oh, we were in the red. Here we go. Yeah. So right now we're in the red. So hopefully at the time Bell open tomorrow, things will look better. But right now it's not looking that promising. So I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? So let's talk about why we possibly think that he is keeping Fed chair, that is, keeping the rates where they're at, when others are really calling for him to cut rates, just because right now it's so expensive to do everything. You want to buy a new car, whether it's used or new, the interest rate is killer, over 5%. You want to buy a house, 30-year fix is over 7%. And that's if you have stellar credit. If you don't have that much, your credit's not that great, you're paying way higher than that. You go out to eat with your family, as soon as you step out the door, you're spending $100. Everything is just high, 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 and we need a break. Not just a U.S. problem, it's all over the world. Just we need a break. And a cut will be so welcome. It will be so welcome, but for some reason, it's not happening. But this is what I wanted to show y'all before. This is the Dow future here. Everything's looking in the red. NASDAQ, S&P, and Dow. But I saw this post by Ted Pillows. He's on Twitter /X. And he gave, his opinion as to why the rates are keeping, or why Fed chair is keeping the rate so high. Why still, even after it's time, the leader of the country saying cut, people in your own committee saying cut, and still nothing. So they're saying that the speculation is that some believe he's deliberately keeping rates elevated to trap capital in the Fed system. These high rates make safe assets like treasuries and money market funds attractive, with yields around 6%. Oh, I'm sorry, 4%. But if interest rates are cut to 2-3%, those yields will lose their appeal. Investors will likely pull trillions out of these safe low yield assets. That money would then flood into riskier market like stocks, real estate, and crypto. Critics suggest that the Fed may be protecting its own financial instruments like certain derivatives that could be underwater. If capital escapes too quickly, it could destabilize parts of the financial system. A wave of liquidity that can pour into the broader market, creating opportunities and risk. So that is an interesting take as to why Jay Powell, is remaining steady and steadfast in keeping rates where they're at. Or he could be a man of integrity and he really truly believes that what he's doing is controlling inflation. However, we got some inflation ratings today and they did tick up in the wrong way. They didn't go down, they ticked up a little bit higher. So we know if we see that, that's basically supporting his theory that he should keep rates steady. All the reason, guys, we still have time. Everything I just talked about with all the macro issues and legislation issues, there's still time to DCA into these alts. Today, we got a small glimpse of what can happen once we get some positive news. And anything can happen in the future. We can get this crypto bill passed, both of them, all three of them, and Powell could possibly resign. And if that happens, these numbers that you see here, you're going to wish you DCA'd today versus waiting and waiting and waiting. And when these prices maybe 3 times, 3x, 4x, 5x. So golden opportunity, guys. We're trying to escape the rat race, trying to be financially free, and to gain the most important thing in life that money can't buy, and that's time. Time to spend with your family, time to spend with yourself, and not working for the rest of your life. And that's why you and I are in crypto. So that's today's video. Altcoins are rising, but we still have a ways to go. Continue to DCA, not financial advice. That's what I'll be doing. And until next time, bye.